All right, hello everybody, and welcome to today's episode of Oracles of Theleston. We are back with episode 19, The Making of a Theleston, and episode 6. Maybe you should go with a different name for this series of episodes, but we're already 6 in, so I'm just going to stick with it.
Whoops.
So we didn't have a play session to watch last Sunday. It was Keister Sunday, and everyone was looking for chocolate butt trophies. So, because rabbits don't lay eggs, so there's only one other thing that they could be putting out. Um, so anyway, yeah. Hope everyone had a good time with that. We've had a couple of the Thursday dev streams with the character creator and the progress with that, and a couple of the Tuesday firesides, which are still being done public. Eggs, indeed.
It's a magical bunny, you know.
Yes, absolutely.
Just saying. Magic throws everything off.
So,
What do they call it? Seekum?
yeah. So what's been going on with the character creator? I don't have the latest one loaded yet, but I don't know if it's actually been published quite yet. The multiplayer stuff using GameSparks as their backend. They've partnered up, and it's seems like a pretty cool sort of deal. So definitely looking forward to seeing all of that stuff. In fact, Snipe, you're in chat there. Has that even been published yet, or is it still a little bit in development? I know there are still a few more features that needed to be added, but working on the multiplayer, the character, creating and sharing your characters, campaign settings and stuff. Probably gonna get through it this week. Cool. Nice. Yeah, I'll definitely we'll have to check that out on the next episode. And then something we've been talking about a little bit. Next week is the 5th week of the month, so instead of doing one of our usual episodes, we're going to do things a little bit different. We're going to have the devs on. They're going to join us. We're going to talk about things. Paul, I believe are you going to be out for that one?
I am going to be out of town, and according to the website on the place we're staying, Wi-Fi is sketchy. So
Okay.
I will be there if I can, but I don't know if you should really count on me.
Is that
Okay.
on the official brochure? That it's like features include sketchy Wi-Fi,
Yeah, it's the fine
lovely
print, I
mountain
think.
views, sketchy Wi-Fi.
No, not mountain. This is absolute water.
Oh,
The
Christmas
motel.
Bay on the north and the Gulf on the south, and yeah.
Oh, I see. So they expect you to go out and do things rather than like sit in your room and do a podcast.
Right.
That's
They
how to
expect
do
you
it.
to be out on the
Force you.
beach.
Force you to-
yeah.
I was gonna say, I know at least Motel 6s have decent Wi-Fi. It's probably not very secure, but whatever.
Yeah, not
Nothing
a
is
Motel
anymore.
6.
No, that's true. So, so aside from those updates, I guess were there any other major development updates in the past couple of weeks? If I'm not mistaken, they started working on the final draft or something of the character or the rule book, or maybe I'm mistaken.
Well, lots of kind of the little stuff that you expect to see. So Verde has continued to build out the items, objects, materials, various things that you'd expect to encounter in the game. Snipe, I know, has been pretty busy probably with the GameSpark integration. So, and Omba has been finishing the map.
Yeah.
Which is pretty exciting. And then he's also been working a lot on the divination card art, and he's starting to swing back around into the lore master work again. So, yeah, things seem to be moving pretty well for how busy these guys are, in their weeks.
Absolutely. A lot going on. Yeah, gear list, card progress, map. Oh yeah, that's right. It's going to be the I think he was saying the map is pretty much done now. He's doing some tests of the aging process before
right.
applying it to the official map and then getting it ready for print.
The aging of the map.
Yes.
Right.
The
Should be-
fake aging of it, the appearance of being aged.
Mm-hmm.
Appearance aging.
Yeah.
And then that'll be cool.
Yeah. Yeah. That'll be great. Definitely looking forward to really being able to look at it in full detail.
Weathering. That's the right term.
Yeah.
And then you will see that map once I have a copy,
Yep.
and it will replace my Yamaha flag back there, which is in turn is
Yeah.
replaced by the.
I haven't gotten anything framed in a little bit. That's probably on the menu there.
Although eventually that map will actually be moved over here because those. I don't know if you remember about a half a year ago, maybe a year ago, the NASA released those to the public, those JPL travel posters.
Those were pretty
And kinda
awesome. I still
Art
kind of
Deco
want to get
sci-fi
those.
ones.
Kind of get one.
Yeah, I'm gonna get prints, probably canvas prints of 6 of my favorite. Stick them on the wall, but it's okay. I've got walls. I can fit the map somewhere.
Yeah, most of my walls are covered these days.
But it's got to be on that wall so that we can see it during the podcast.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be happy to keep it up there for a good while. Whenever we do podcasts, I can always move it around. I'll sit with it right here in front of me and just have my head. over
There
it,
you go.
Gesture, or right behind me, I can gesture it to like a weather map.
Hmm.
Or you have a mirror placed and the camera just placed perfectly, so it's
There, yeah, right.
you're seeing it through the
Then
reflection.
you could do some cool effects, like the way they use mirrors and clear glass to like reflect fire onto it and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Here's where Verde burned down the stable of.
A live map like that would be pretty awesome. All right, so yeah, that's what's been going on with that sort of stuff. Definitely, a lot of progress. I've been, really excited to see what's been going on with that. And then since next week we'll be having the devs on here, they won't be doing a play session again until the first week of next month, or the first Sunday. So that'll be good. I'm sure there's probably a lot of time since, so everybody's been able to think about things a little more. I don't know if Ombo has been like kind of hitting up everybody about like little details here and there, checking in about stuff, or if it's pretty much just like
He seems to be playing it pretty close to the chest, so
Yeah.
means everyone's doomed.
yeah.
So,
Well, I mean,
I was really bummed that
the
we
goal.
missed it for last weekend, but family has to take precedence.
Yeah.
Yep, family first.
But where your family? No.
Yes, but you're not here and
Yes.
can't show up at my doorstep being like, "Why aren't you over at Easter? What's up?" And I'd be like, well, I don't necessarily believe.
I could. I
No.
choose not to.
Although in my family, it was great fun to be the one at Easter tables. They're like, "All right, well, we should say grace," and they start. And I'm like, "That's offensive to me as a agnostic. I don't think you should do that." And after everyone just look at me, and it's like, "Oh, I'm just kidding. My bad." We're a family that teases and makes fun of a lot of things. This is one where it's just like, "Boy."
Nice. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Yeah. So we were kind of. Are we ready to move on to getting back with the game session here?
Yeah.
No.
No. Okay.
Nope.
What's up? What else? What else do you
No,
want to
no,
talk
go.
about here? Okay.
Or spin up a second character, the one his apprentice who keeps showing up at the shop wondering where the hell his boss went.
I do have a question.
Uh huh.
There was some discussion of acquiring somehow NPCs.
Mm-hmm.
How would that work? How does that happen? How does that work? And how would that work in a play session? I mean, like the mechanics of it.
It's not terribly uncommon. A lot of
Oh,
GMs
okay.
have put had parties encounter NPCs and pick them up along the way. Basically, they're just one who's run by the game master at the time.
Yeah.
So they just act as an extension of his will or a tool or
Yeah.
sacrificial goat.
And
Oh, okay. So the party just gets bigger.
mhm.
So,
Well,
The
I mean,
Herald, he has company.
Well,
he has a command.
here's the other thing is that it gives a lot of times it's a tool a DM can use, DM or GM or whatever format of role playing game you're playing. But for anybody who's confused, it's Dungeon Master versus Game Master. DM is the kind of the classic from D&D. It's the where it's most known from, but then other games along the way kind of well, it's not about dungeons, so we'll just call it a Game Master. And So you might hear DM and GM being used interchangeably. They more or less mean the same thing. But it's a tool that they use to kind of help guide the player, help give them, a little bit of, temporary boost in certain areas. So if you're going into a place where you need to know about something, but you don't know about it, the NPC can kind of have a little bit of knowledge, or be knowledgeable and just not talk about it because, like, oh yeah, no, this is just second nature for me. I don't like talk about this stuff because it's just every day for me, sort of thing.
Okay.
That sort of stuff. There's a lot of uses of NPCs, or if there's just a big fight coming up and your character's not a fighter, well, you might want to like hire a guard or two to protect you or something. So they would be NPCs as well.
And their actions get rolled on just like a player character would?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Typically, it depends. I think these guys probably have plenty of experience where compared to me, but I've seen it swing either way. Sometimes they'll roll or take action specific to them. Other times they won't, because it's either assumed that they can do what they're trying to do, or they are unable to, and just it's not their character. Like maybe they flee during a fight.
Yeah. Now here's the thing: is any action that goes on in a pen and paper universe that isn't towards, at, pertaining to, or potentially able to impact a player doesn't get rolled on. It doesn't need to be. It just doesn't get rolled on. So like that blacksmith in another town that you're never going to visit, and how well they made one of the hammers that's on their shelf, that's of no concern. You don't have to roll on that. Obviously for the meow, all of that stuff most definitely would all have had to have been entered and generated, and have its history and tags and all of that. But for this, it's only things that are of actual consequence will actually get rolled on. So NPCs having banter that you can't hear and that has there's no meaning or value or anything to it, you would walk over and you'd be told that it's dialogue. There's nothing of use from it. They're just talking about flowers or something. I don't know.
My experience with NPCs has always been that they are kind of the ultimate example of hand wave narratives. They're very because they have to respond to a ton of variables. I mean, I've yet to meet GM, DM, take your pick, that has not had at least once in their experience had a carefully laid plan be completely missed because they decide, oh look, shiny rock, and wandered off in a completely opposite direction. So they end up having to adapt constantly, which means sometimes there's a lot of things that they just have to be like, yeah, suddenly NPC there who actually has some exposition, or but yeah, much like the meow would have been, where a computer, their panopticon I believe it was, would be doing a lot of the background work. The GM is essentially doing that in their head or behind their screen, which is why everyone again probably has experienced the ominous moment where you're all doing something and suddenly the GM starts rolling dice.
Yeah, so for this particular campaign, this specific one that we're running here, where we've got especially 3 people running one character, which we need to take advantage of in terms of story. We need to put that into the story since this is a Lovecraftian campaign. And especially since it's centered in a city and it's not necessarily a traditional Dungeons and Dragons type of story necessarily, and more Lovecraftian, interaction with people in the city seems likely. So to me, I think that we should all expand the city with people that you normally talk to. So I'm sure that Harold has people that he normally sees every day.
Right. Yeah.
I've been watching Leftovers. I've been binge watching it this weekend. And it, takes place in this one town, and even though all this crazy stuff is happening, they're still trying to live their everyday lives. So, one of the things that I ended up thinking today is like, where is Harold going to have dinner? What does he do for dinner? Does he have a spot that he normally goes to?
Really good point. Yeah.
Does he? Who does he hang out with day to day? Not just, oh, I have this investigation that I'm trying to figure out. There's just
Well, and
people that
appended
talk-
to that
Yeah.
series of questions is Harold going to work 24/7 on this thing, or is he going to call it a 9 to 5 type of job and
That's a
at
great
come
question.
5 o'clock, I'm done.
Is he
Time for me
being-
to go get dinner and hit the bar.
Harold
or
should
something.
probably talk about some kind of recompense on this because he's leaving his shop closed or unattended for.
Well, part of that is because people aren't coming so much, so I think he
Okay.
has time.
Yeah. No,
But
he's
I think
already being
That's actually a really good point, though. is
he's
the
already
guy-
being
the
fully
habits.
compensated based on his back records. That was one of the aspects of the deputization. Is that
Okay.
it was part of the deal. Is that we're basically making you have to take this on, but at least you're gonna get paid out for it. I'm
Okay,
looking around
and
for
I
my
would-
dice, by the way.
I would also guess that Harold, as a very competent cook, would be making his own meat pie or some kind of meat, vegetable, something or other pie to have for dinner on the nights when he's not going to the tavern.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
probably makes his own food most
Sure,
of
yeah.
the time.
Probably has
Sure.
leftovers pretty regularly. I mean,
Makes
there's always gonna be
sausages
that.
out of scraps and things, and just
But,
eats that or whatever.
That's a good question. I mean, it's actually it's touches on probably the most intriguing thing. He's obviously our character, but it's that world of NPCs where you really do wonder what do they get up to, what are their lives like. In his case,
Right.
yeah. What are his habits? Does he cook for himself? Maybe he hates cooking for himself. I understand that. Does it all day.
Yeah,
Doesn't
but
want
the
to do it for
chances
himself.
are it's one more thing to make when you're making up your daily batch of stuff.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I've
Just
known
bake a loaf of bread with meat inside it and call it good.
which would be pragmatic and again realistic. But I've also known chefs who are literally just like, no, I make someone else cook for me every night because I can't. I love it. I do it all day, but I cannot sit and make a meal for myself.
And sometimes you like other stuff, I mean, you don't
Yeah.
always want to have your own stuff.
Yeah. Right? You
and
don't always
so,
want
yeah,
to eat your own meat pie. You want
Well,
to go
it's-
eat,
as a line cook at a restaurant where you're working really hard for like 7 to 12 hours or something, yeah, you're done. You don't want to do anything at that point. So I can understand just getting food somewhere else, but I don't know if it's necessarily that stressful for Harold. A lot of the baking process is you make the stuff, you get it in the oven. There's a lot of latency with things, so he's able to kinda have some breaks with that downtime. It isn't a ridiculous rush where he's got like hot like grease fire in his face like all day every day or whatever, and it's just like it reminds. This is the one that it reminds me of. My brother, when he started at the kitchen that he was working at, he had this really nice hat, has nice hard bill on it, cool logo and all. By the time he was finished with that job, the hat itself is like permanently bogged down with like soggy grease. The bill itself is like soft and squishy
Gross.
like leather.
Yeah.
It's like that.
something you could light
That-
on fire and let
That
it burn
poor
for a
thing
year.
is so weathered. It's like, but yeah, that's not going to happen in a bakery the same way it would happen in a hot small kitchen. So
Right, but it would
Our
still be
chemists.
hot.
yeah, it would still
mean,
be it would still be hot, but it's not nearly as bad. And it's the sort of thing where he could actually keep the windows open and keep it pretty well ventilated, because I'm sure there's areas where he needs to have things cooling too.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know that there would be windows. I mean, it kind of
we
depends
can look
on
at the house.
place.
And we can look at
Yeah,
the
we
house,
can look
although
at
I
the
would argue minutiae of detail at this point.
Right.
It's,
But I
Um,
mean, if he's an experienced cook, then he knows how to manage his day.
Yeah.
But there's other stuff
Yeah,
that
right
you
on,
want
Paul.
besides- there's other stuff that you'll want besides just meat pies. So there could be maybe he wants salad, and there's somebody that specializes in salads.
Yeah.
or
You know,
just, as you were saying, I mean, most importantly, I mean, what about, companionship? Does he have friends? Is he completely isolated in his career?
And so I
Right.
was thinking, I had been thinking for in the morning that he has an NPC who is a card reader, that he has a friend who's a card reader that he brings breakfast to every morning. Here's your baked good for the
Yeah.
morning in trade for having cards read. And like I said, I don't know whether the card reading is true or
Right, yeah.
just
I don't. These are
But-
really good.
that's just
This is really
that's
good
just something
pastries.
that
I don't want to lose them, so your day
Yeah.
is going to be great.
Maybe just that person thinks that they're doing something for real and they're not.
Yeah.
But it's just, something that he does, like our
Yeah.
readers do today, maybe. But he just has
It's not
somebody that,
accurate.
yeah, he just has somebody who he gets his cards done every morning in exchange for baked goods.
I
And
would
that way
say-
kind of even the card stuff at some point, but just that's a part of what we do, and we can use the roller on the GLP crew
Yeah.
site maybe.
I would say that he's a friendly person and people like him, but ultimately, if you had to put him side by side with his bread, it's his bread that people know and love. Like his bread has a much higher charm than he does.
We got pretty high charm.
Yeah, no,
and it
this
might be that we're using our bread to do that. But
there's
There's
that's
something
that's
naturally
the thing is
attractive
that
about the smell of rising dough.
his his bread in particular, a lot of people will eat it and enjoy it and they'll know it when they see it, but they don't know who he is and they don't know where it came from. So, he has the potential to make a lot of friends along the way, but aside from his regulars and the people he does business with, yeah, sure, he's got friends and stuff. They
He had to form friendships with other cooks along the way and the things that he apprenticed with.
yeah, absolutely.
But, anyways,
so for this, I think we should build out some NPCs that he talks to regularly or engages with regularly, so that
well, we know he has to have a supply logistical chain, so we know he has friends that, or at the very least, business associates that he gets his meat from. He gets his flour from his
Right.
salt.
Yeah, and my expectation is those would be people that Neuro would be running for us. But I think just as part of our homework, we should just come up with a couple of NPCs each and let Neuro know who they are, and then we'll visit them from time
I have another
to time.
question then.
Yeah, what's up?
Yeah.
Well, okay, so Diggs is saying we need some NPCs.
Mhm.
Now, Crowns Rock is a fairly substantial city.
Yeah.
Where are these NPCs? Do we meet one down south? Is there another over by his house?
I think you should probably work that into the character you're building.
Right.
You're building an NPC, so think of where you
when we
think
go north, is there going to be another NPC there? Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's part of that creative process. So if you create the NPC, you say, well, I think he should know a brewer because that's where he's going to get his yeast. And who wouldn't want to be friends with a brewer? So
True.
where's the brewer located at? As soon as you establish that, it'll be up to the machinations of where we're sending him, and then whether or not they cross paths, and that'll be Neuro who ultimately makes that role. But don't overthink about where you need to place him. Just create the character, and then the rest will work itself out.
Yeah.
Okay.
For better or worse.
Yeah,
Thank
because
you.
we might coincidentally run into them in the north, just because they have something to do there on the same day, or they've got relatives that they're visiting, or friends that they're visiting, all kinds of stuff. But I just to work it into more of a routine of a city, because this is more of a person who's in a city, and that's kind of the Lovecraftian adventure. Is it's not so much, I've got to go to the castle and loot the castle.
I mean, this is one of those things where you can kind of temper your expectations of going out and meeting a ton of people, because again, there's some sort of weird thing going on where everybody's scared, people are sick, we're not all sure what's going on. Oh yeah, and the supplies are low, and it's the end of a really long winter. So like a lot of people aren't really going to be out. A lot of people are going to be keeping to themselves.
But it doesn't matter, because I would still go visit my friends. I would say, is there this place? There's a sickness here. Let me go check on my friend if I haven't talked to them in a couple
Well, not only
days.
that, but plague or not, cities are always alive. There are going to be people out.
Yeah, of course.
It would take a lot especially since they've kept it relatively contained, both in terms of scope and in news. I think people would still be pretty busy city. I like the idea personally. Even if we never end up using them, I think just fleshing it out for the sake of doing it. And hell, it's a good experience with throwing together some quick characters on the app.
Who's going to borrow that cup of sugar?
Yeah, right.
Right. That who's going to bring the bowl of soup because people are sick? That's got to happen as part of this character's life to some degree. That's all I'm saying.
Well, cool.
Right.
Yeah, no, I agree. I like it.
I mean, if I was really gonna, take my time and due diligence, it would be Stanislavski's 7 questions for, characters in the scene for every single character and NPC, and that's a lot of stuff to answer, even if it's just a few lines for each. But that's, if I remember, if anybody doesn't know off the top of my head, what was it? And you probably know it too, Diggs. It's who am I? Where did I come from? What am I trying? What's my goal? What am I? What's blocking me from that goal? And how can I get around? Was it 5 questions or 7 questions? I feel like there's 2 more.
I don't remember off the top of my head.
Oh well,
Head.
someone I'm sure knows what I'm talking about out there. You look it up, but yeah, it's definitely like the kind of series of questions to know about a character, so that way you can guide their actions and motivations and what they're trying to do based on something that actually has some meat to it, rather than just like, oh, this character's doing this right now. Well, why are they doing that? Because that's just what they're doing right now. Like that's kind of what ends up happening otherwise if you don't really have everything fleshed out. So that would be something worth kind of taking the time to if you with this process of creating NPCs, definitely have that in mind a little bit here.
Mm-hmm. So let's move on to Harold now himself.
Yeah.
All right. So, the last session, he was just talking with the guard captain at the South Gate, Yuri Stonewell, about kind of what's been going on. He gave a lot of information, but there's still a lot more to know, a lot to be investigated. I guess how far back, how much setting the scene do you want me to do here? Or can we just kind of continue from last time?
Yeah.
Because it's okay. So, just as a review, it was
Hagen. We were about to talk to Hagen.
Yeah.
Sojourn.
Sojel. Yeah, it was Arvin at the front desk. You were able to see 3 other people that had been deputized or given special access. You were able to catch 2 names, Hagen and Jinda was the other one, but you didn't catch the third. He knows Arvin knew your baked goods and liked them, but got really annoyed when he noticed that you were looking down at the paperwork, all the stuff on the desk. He's just been like fighting through all sorts of paperwork and documents and stuff. Just been super busy there. So Yuri explains what's going on. That Hagen's plague doctor with a proven track record for remedy and being able to take care of people. So he was given permission to volunteer. He wasn't deputized. He's a volunteer. He provided the plague doctor masks that the guards out front were using, as well as 4 alternates, which are being steamed heavily before being reused. So, essentially the ye old-fashioned autoclave. And the hearing about 2 guards that were sick and pulled in, that doesn't sound like a special case at all, because about 90% of the guards have been affected by this, and some of their family members, which is not to be repeated outside the guardhouse.
Did he say that?
Yes. He said,
Okay.
nowhere outside the guardhouse do you repeat those words. So they haven't investigated the reports of a ship coming in. There is no ship that people have been able to see from the docks. So, the issue is just dropped at that. No ship. There's no ship. Yuri was trying to get promoted, but all this crap that's been going on might be kind of stifling that. And he was already promoted up to captain from the whatever position he was at before. The previous captain was deposed 6 months ago and now is on latrine duty somewhere in the inner city. Yuri, he says that he thinks this is an attack. He thinks this was being done intentionally, that it's not just, a disease or a random outbreak. And mentions about how there was the last supplies that pretty much came in were some jugs of oil from a ship that came in the north, and that some of those jugs of oil might still be at the barracks. And the end of the last session, we also added 1 CP for Harold, though I have not updated that on his character sheet quite yet. So you guys are going to head to the barracks.
We're going to head to talk to Hagen.
You were going to head to the barracks, to the triage center, to talk to Hagen. Before you leave the area, Yuri stops you. Hey, before you go, you might want a little bit of help. There's an investigator from Tide's End who kind of happened to be on vacation, I guess, up here. So we've talked it over with them. They've been deputized to help out with this. She's over in the other room here. Jinda, hey, come out here. So from one of the other rooms over, there's a couple guards talking, and this just rather odd character, kind of tall, pretty gal with just like ridiculously powder blue leather armor on. It's covering like on her arms, on her legs, has like a jack of plate sort of thing, so that's covering most of like the torso and the arms, and leather covering everything else, and a nice metal sallet with a camail that looks like it was bronzed or something. It's got a nice like bronzy goldy sort of look to it.
So Felicia Day kind of odd, or Brianna from Game of Thrones kind of odd?
Maybe Felicia Day kind of odd, like just bubbly, quirky, friendly sort of person. She like waves eagerly, says, "Hey, how's it going?" Comes over.
Little Miss Subtle.
And you can see she's got a quarterstaff in her hand that looks like it's been around for a while and been well traveled, and a gigantic greatsword, just like nice 55 inch, like big, brutal, like does not look. Now she doesn't look like big and beefy or anything, but it's kind of hard to tell under the armor. But she comes over and doesn't seem at all encumbered by the fact that she's wearing a fair amount of armor. So some amount of strength and resilience there. And
is she more decked out than the guards?
She isn't more decked out than the guards so much as that this doesn't appear to be guards' equipment. This appears to be like as if she's like a mercenary, or even as if this is just for decoration. Like she isn't even.
Either way, sounds custom.
Yeah, it's
right?
custom.
I mean, this isn't run-of-the-mill quartermaster issued.
Well, I don't know that Harold would know whether or not it was custom or not, but
that's a fair point. But it definitely would. I think he would probably stand
someone
out just,
wearing
just
like
by color,
head to toe powder blue.
no, striking. I'm just saying.
With
I don't
like,
like
no way.
Like a goldish bronze sort of look to all of the metal, like a coating's been put over them. Like this is somebody who, and they look tough, but it also looks like their appearance really means even more to them. But
I don't know if there's any way to tell that, but okay.
just from kind of like a first glance sort of thing. So, she comes over.
Talking.
Oh, you must be the new guy. Nice to meet you.
Who are you?
I'm Jinda. You're Herbert, right? No, Herschel.
Harold.
Harold. Oh yeah, Harold. Yeah. So So Yuri, what's up with this guy again? And Yuri,
Yeah, what's up with this chick again?
Yuri kind of like, well, you know, she might not look like the type, but in fact, she's been a investigator in Tide's End for a few years. Um, she worked with a fella out there.
Successful?
Oh yeah. Oh no. She worked with a fella out there quite well for a while, and they actually kind of, you know, he retired, she joined. They made a tavern, and tavern unfortunately burnt down, but he was smart enough to throw down some insurance money with DNI, so they were able to, you know, get some money back off of that, and she decided to go traveling, and here she is. So I think you probably need somebody to help you with this investigation should trouble come along. I know you're a baker and not a fighter, and Jinda here, while she might not look like much, let's just say don't get her pissed
Are they
off.
saying that in front of her?
Yes.
What the
I was just
fuck?
thinking that.
Hey, quiet back there, you. I mean, she's just sitting there like smiling and nodding, and like the entire time.
If she's a good investigator, then she knows that the powder blue outfit and the ditzy kind
I
of
hear you.
come on is going to throw people off, and so she's looking for reactions. If she's a good investigator,
How the hell would we know? Fucking Baker.
right?
Looks good to me.
Yeah, right? She's got a big ass knife and
Yeah.
She's not afraid to
She's
carry it.
armored.
I guess that's good
So-
to go.
the hell are we gonna do? Hit him with a baguette?
So, Jinda, how long have you been in Crown's Rock? You're from Tide's End, you said?
Yeah, I've only been here about a year and a half or so. I went to do some fishing initially. I love fishing so much, but you know, as it starts getting a little bit colder, you know, I started kind of trying a little bit of this and that, and then just been kind of enjoying the place here a little bit actually. But it doesn't really look like the place that I want to stay for too much longer. So probably as soon as springtime comes around, I'll be moving along.
Okay, let's. So we should head over to the barracks now to talk to Hagen, Yuri.
Yeah, you should probably do that. You might want to try to get a little bit more information about, you know, whatever you can from Hagen. You might want to talk to the some of the other staff there. They might have some other information for you as well.
Okay.
And that's where the barrels of oil are, right?
Yeah.
So let's head over there, and we'll quiz Jinda as we go along. So Jinda, what were you doing before you were deputized for this particular investigation?
Oh, I was doing my own thing for a little bit, and then I was like you know, a fisher when I was a kid, and when I was fishing, I was having a good old time, and then all of a sudden I found myself in the city guard. I didn't know how it happened, but you know, things were all right. I took it with a grain of salt, but then oh
So you joined the guard?
well,
And
I didn't join the guard. I just kind of ended up in the guard. I don't know how. I wasn't sure how that happened actually, but someone told me something somewhere later along the line that it wasn't actually my signature on the paper, so I'm not really so sure about that. But anyway, I was partnered with one of the top investigators out there, and he, you know, he goes by so many names. I can't even remember which one was the real one, but he just the nicest guy. After, you know, I would teach him about fishing, and he would teach me about brewing, and you know, we were like you know, we would just be the ones who would check on the guards. If one of them wasn't showing up for duty, we'd go to their house, make sure everything's fine. You know, every now and then somebody would be you know, up to something nefarious, and well, sometimes I've had to get the club out here, and she kind of taps the quarterstaff on the ground a couple times. But generally the greatsword doesn't ever have to come out, so I'm happy about that.
This is sorry.
So I
This is an investigator who has no idea how they got to the city. It's like the Scooby-Doo of investigators.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like it.
I just out of character here. I actually wrote a full backstory for the character. Their backstory is just absolutely hilarious, ridiculous. But in the context of everything, it
Sure,
totally
yeah.
makes sense.
Okay. Yeah. Cool.
When people come back from death, it's all good. Powder blue investigator.
Yep.
We're good. We're rolling.
Harold says to himself, I wonder if there's any other questions. And he doesn't hear any. His voices don't say anything, so
Other voices try.
Yeah.
we'll just.
So she
Stay silent
she
till we
kind
get
of she continues and says about so
You like Fred?
like Yuri was saying, the brewery, unfortunately, some bad guys that we beat up a few times, they didn't like us so much. So when they eventually got out of the prison and stuff, they came and burnt it down. I wasn't very happy about it, but you know.
Wait, where was that? That was here in Crown's Rock?
No, that was in Tide's End. It was up just up above, where the river kind of meets the top of the bowl there. That's what he would always call it, the top of the bowl. I always thought that was funny. But yeah, that's where we set it up, and unfortunately, after it burnt down, I didn't really want to build up another one again. So I decided to travel a little bit and just kind of see the world and see what kind of fish there are everywhere. There's fish I've heard of and seen drawings of and other things that I've never fished them up. So I've got my work cut out for me.
Where do you take the fish once you've fished them? Do you?
I take them to a fire and then to my belly.
Okay, so you just eat them yourself. Okay.
I love
and
fish.
what's the best fish you found? What's the best fishing spot you found in Crown's Rock?
Ooh, there was a spot over by the forest to the southeast. There was like a little landing, the kind of hard to get to, but man, oh man, it just had I pulled up a fish there that I was literally eating it all day. It was delicious, and by the time I was finished, I had 6 more about the same size. So did bring those back and share them with some folks. We had a big old feast, and it was a good old time.
To think about that. Yeah, we should go fishing sometime, and maybe I'll make a little meal out of that. Interesting. Okay.
If you ever go
pie
down
sounds
there, don't just use worms. Tie just a little piece of apple along with it too. Apple and worm. For some reason, I just had so much more success with that. Don't even ask why I tried it. I was bored and trying things. That apple wasn't very good, and if it works, it works.
And it's not coming back with tentacles or anything.
No.
The fish had no tentacles. Okay.
No,
All right.
No.
I'm
Right.
I'm not
I might
inclined to
try.
ask any questions at this point. It's like this rambling freight train of disconnected thoughts.
You're not in charge now. I'm talking.
I'm
Not-
merely your.
I didn't say anything. Yeah. So yeah, Hagen.
So yeah, so you've reached the barracks. The guards there kind of stop you. Hey, wait. Oh, I know her. I don't know you. Do you have papers too?
Oh, now you don't want to talk.
You're in charge.
actually, because my internet cut out on part of that, and I was missing one of the board their papers that came with the deputization, or some kind of
that was
seal. So those would be presentable then. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you weren't here for
Earl Baker and
2 sessions ago, were you, Zero?
I wasn't.
Yeah, no, he definitely had to get hassled by the guards, one then the other, about the deputization paperwork.
Then so that
So you produce the paper.
Paperwork.
He takes it from you.
Baker deputy.
Just kind of like, haphazardly, like holds it up and shines it through. Shines like a torchlight through it or whatever. Then hands it back to you. All right, that's the real thing. Come on in. So, the two of you come in. It's you see there's just like everything's busy and bustling. It appears that the barracks have been kind of separated. Half of it is where people are actually resting and like that's the barracks area. That's where your guards and stuff live. But the other half of it has been pretty much, they've strewn hay across the floors everywhere, and there's pretty much just piles of people, just like with buckets next to them, and like maybe a bowl of food or something. It does not look like a very pretty scene, and it looks like if you were to like get down on the ground and take a big whiff, you just absolutely choke. But fortunately, there's a really, really potent incense. Not like smoking out the place potent, but just like the aroma from it's really powerful. That's doing a good job of covering whatever smells might be going on.
Fortunately, Harold does not possess the sudden desire to go take a whiff of the ground.
Well,
however,
he actually kind of squatted down for a second and then popped back up. What about it makes it look like there would be a stench on the ground? What makes it look like that?
Well, all the hay, it isn't dry necessarily. There's been apparently a lot of sick people that are or have been puking all over the place.
Delightful.
It's
just delightful.
Not the funnest scene. Buckets get spilled here and there. Overflow, whatever. So, it's not the happiest place. You see, about 20 people, both male or female, wearing clean white, like medical sort of clothing, and one who's got kind of like not necessarily of a higher quality, but just like of a bit of a different shape and a different design. It kind of covers the head and face a little differently, and meets at a very obvious plague mask, and you see that person just like they're looking around, writing notes, looking around. They've got you see them walking back and forth between a specific bed and a table with all sorts of bottles and vials and things on it.
Okay, so how many? So there's like, is it beds or pallets? What's the makeup of the room?
It's at this point looks like all of the beds have been moved out over to the part that's still being used as barracks, and the part that's being used for triage is just like hay and blankets.
Hay and blankets. Okay,
yeah,
pallets.
Yeah.
All right, and how many do there seem to be?
And
how many are occupied and how many are unoccupied?
It's pretty much as far as the eye can see in this place. Like, yeah. Around every wall there's probably another one. On the second floor there's probably more. It's just
No, I just meant in this
It's
in this one room that we're in right
oh
now.
yeah, no, I mean it's kind of like an open view of some of the area. There's a lot of like other side rooms and other parts of it, but just kind of the main. You walk in the front door, you can kind of see stuff from
But
there.
how many beds or how pals are actually occupied? I mean, is it mostly an empty room now, or because you said there's about 20 medical staff, for lack of a better term, right?
Oh
So how
yeah,
many actual patients or guardsmen?
there's a lot of them, maybe 100 or more. There's a
Okay.
lot
Oh,
of.
that's a pretty big place if you've got room for 100
Well,
pallets.
yeah, it's a barracks. It's a big space for. And unfortunately, since I don't know what the actual barracks would have looked like, I don't think
Yeah, that's fine. That's
the
fine.
Yeah,
just kind of going with it here. But it's not just like a small little boarding house for a few guards. It's a big old thing. That's
well,
where a lot of guards. That's where the training is being done. That's where a lot of the storage and stuff. So it's a large facility. It's not just a tiny little place.
And so it's primarily so there's one person who looks like it's probably Hagen,
Yeah.
and
It-
then is there any assistant level looking person that's more like a journeyman than a apprentice
So-
type that
perhaps
more
more
yeah.
well outfitted than the rest, but not as nicely outfitted as
Yeah.
or embellished as Hagen.
It's
This would be something
really
he should be able to associate pretty easy. It's like chefs, right? The bigger the hat, the more important they are.
yeah. It's kind of hard to tell, but
Okay.
some of them maybe there's some finer detail if you get closer, or it might just be that the time for formal clothes is over because they just need to have clean clothes and they just have piles of these laying around that they can keep cleaning and keep cycling through because it's I'm sure they get messed up pretty quickly.
Okay. Hagen is wearing a plague doctor mask.
Yeah.
And the 20 assistants or 20 nurses, they're what are they wearing in terms of headwear? The
They've
guards were wearing plague doctor masks, so it seems like
Yeah, they've got like a piece of cloth or whatever covering their face, but not like full on mask.
okay. Because that's the first thing I want to look around to see if there's anything that we can use to cover our faces with.
Right. I'm with Diggs.
Okay. And then on the other half of things, you can see the area leading to where there's a kitchen. You see someone walks by with a serving tray with 9 bowls of porridge. Very the same plain bowls you're seeing everywhere else, plain silverware, eating utensils, and they're being brought over to towards the patients. You can tell from looking over at the patients, you can see that's kind of what's being given to them, what they're being fed. Now from here, I'm going to give an investigation roll to see what more Harold's able to determine just from this location. It's a 5 again, so that's giving us an 8, if I remember correctly. 3 investigation, 5 perception. So, from here he's able to see where there's, into the kitchen. They have definitely the jugs of oil. You can see them, but they're kind of against the wall. They're closed. It's pretty busy in there. There's not right as you enter, but a little ways back, there's a desk with somebody who's kind of they're sitting there looking at you, but they're not really like standing at attention or trying to get your attention or anything. They're just kind of calmly sitting there and just keeping an eye on what's going on everywhere. and that's from here you kind of look and you can see, yeah, some of the folks, the medical professionals, they have a like an extra, like a red band on their the headwear, maybe indicating some sort of higher rank or perhaps even a lower rank. But it's kind of an even distribution of people with 0 to 1 of these stripes, and then a couple of people have 2 of these stripes.
Jinda, is this your first time here? You haven't spoken to Hagen yet either?
This isn't my first time here. I've actually been coming here to get the porridge here and there. It's okay. It needs some salt, but
Oh, but you've just been going into the kitchen.
yeah, I don't want to go in that area over there. I mean, I'm not gonna get sick or anything. I don't get sick, but I just don't want to go in there. It's icky.
Yeah. Okay. And so you said there's a guard-looking person who's just watching?
Yeah.
Let's go over and talk to him real quick, see if we can introduce us to Hagen, unless...
Hey,
what,
you do
what,
that.
what do my other voices think?
Well, I think I would probably personally would have headed straight for Hagen, just to get it out of the way, but that's I think guard makes sense. Whatever direction we go, Harold does step around the wetter looking spots of the straw covered floor.
Definitely.
Definitely.
So, as you go towards the desk, Jinda says, "Hey, you know what? Why don't you talk to him? I'm gonna go eat some porridge. See you in a bit."
Mm-hmm. Sounds good.
So she strolls off the kitchen. "Hey guys, how's it going?" So it's lively banter and stuff going on there. While you approach the desk, the person, they finally stop slouching in their chair and actually stand up to address you there. Hey there. Can I see your papers real quick?
Well, I was just going to say we just hold up our papers and show them we've got papers.
Okay.
And introduce ourselves as Harold, just newly deputized. I was hoping you could, Yuri sent us in to talk to Hagen. I was hoping you could, you would introduce us. I don't want to disturb him, but what do you think? Can you do that for us?
Yeah, I gotta keep an eye on things here. There's a couple folks I'm waiting for, but anytime Higgins told me, anytime that he's writing in his notebook is a perfect time to stop what he's doing and talk to him. So I definitely, go right ahead.
All right. So we head over to Hagen and we say Baker, Harold Baker, Deputy Harold Baker, Esquire, and show him our papers.
And he's just sitting there writing in his notebook, writing. He looks up at a couple things, writes in the notebook, looks at a couple things, writes in the notebook, and he's still writing, he's still writing, he's still writing.
I make a motion to poke him in the eye with a breadstick. That's an internal motion to the hive mind.
After
Do I get a second on that?
Yeah, go for it. If we have breadsticks.
No, you don't.
I can't imagine why he would be carrying any.
Hey, he's got voices. Who knows what one of them has told us to do?
True.
Just
He's
in
got a
case.
plague mask on.
Okay.
So he
So
finally
what
stops.
might be-
He finally stops writing, and after about a minute or so, and looks up straight at you. It's like, Deputy Esquire, nice to meet you.
Deputy Esquire. That has a good tone to it. Anyways,
So, what's up? What are you the one? You're the one. You're the one. I think I heard about you. You're the one who's been sent to investigate all of this stuff, right? Right. Yeah, you're the guy. You're the guy. You said your name was Harold, right? Yeah, you're definitely the guy. So, there's some weird stuff going on here. I'm not really sure what's going on. It's absolutely weird. I can't figure it out. On one hand, it looks like some sort of weird disease going on. I'm not sure how it's being spread around, if it's through touch, through breath, through eating after somebody else, if it's something in the air, something in the water.
Wait, did we ever find something to cover our faces with?
I don't think we did. So we've been walking like this, like very casually.
Yeah, I'm serious. Like, what's around for us to cover our faces?
Well, although offhand,
I'm
see why
putting a kerchief on.
yeah, I mean, if he had some, if he
yeah.
had a strip of cloth that he could use himself, or even just the.
So yeah, you I guess did that before you walked over. So yeah, he's he continues. So there's that, or then the other chance, maybe it's something that people have been eating, something people have been drinking, something that maybe it's something weird with one of the candles. I don't know, or maybe it's some sort of weird ritual that's been going on. I don't know. It's so hard to tell. So many things going on. People getting sick. Why are they getting sick? What's making them sick? What's going on? Why are they losing their memory? What brings that about? Why can they? What? I need to do more research. I need to do more research here.
So, what research have you already done?
Well,
like how long have you been here doing research?
Oh, I've always been in Crowns Rock doing research. Or do you mean
on this specific incident?
He sounds absolutely bonkers.
Well, there was this thing that happened. I was told about somebody not feeling very well. They actually came by. A lot of times guards will come by, and usually it's just they ate something bad, or they got conked on the head, or something stupid, and I'm able to take care of them, send them out. But this is something different. This is something weird, because people having this sort of a physical effect and having this sort of a loss of memory, there's nothing I can equate to that would make that make any sense. It's so
well,
weird.
as a baker, my initial thought would be foodborne. Yeah, but definitely from the other guy's bread, not from my bread. But it's got to be foodborne, right?
Well,
as a baker, I think it's a logical assumption.
I don't know yet. I'm still doing a lot of research. There's a lot of stuff I've gotten from a lot of people here that I've been doing a lot of tests on, and I haven't been able to figure it out quite yet. Not quite yet.
Okay, and how long did you say you'd been doing the testing for?
About 8 or so days ago is when the first person came through. And, yeah, it poor guy,
so did
just
you
was not doing well.
specifically test for foodborne, like bread?
Well, the things that I would normally be able to test for, that I'm used to testing for, they seem to be fine. So I'm not really sure what it is exactly. It's weird. It's really weird, though. But
And you don't think it's coming through beer?
Well, I'd hope not, because I've had a lot of beer, and I haven't been affected. So if I am, then it might be the beer.
Now, you being a plague doctor, are you typically prone to illness?
No.
Right. Okay.
I keep myself
Well,
nice and healthy, and protected. And healthy,
right.
but mostly protected.
Speaking of protected, as we are going to be investigating much more closely with you, is it at all possible to secure one of these lovely face masks for ourselves?
I think all of my spare ones are over at the guardhouse. You might be able to get one of those. You might not need it.
Can we get
I
a
don't know.
note from you
saying
that we should have one?
Yes, sure. Just a minute.
Thank you.
And he grabs a different, like a notepad, not his notebook, starts writing on it, and he's writing, and he's
I
writing.
wonder if
He
we
looks
should
up.
get one for Jenda.
He looks down. He looks up. He's looking around. He's writing. He's writing. He looks up. He's looking around. He's writing.
Is he looking around wild-eyed? I mean, he sounds crazy.
He might have
You're
a
jumping a
little.
little
He might have a little crazy to him. So he rips off the page, looks at it proudly, and then stuffs it in his pocket, then starts writing another note real quickly, and hands that to you, and says, "Alright, this is the one. Give it to them. Hopefully they'll be able to provide one. Hopefully it's already been heavily steamed. Definitely make sure it's always heavily steamed. Don't ever give it to anybody else without heavily steaming it, and don't take one from somebody without it being heavily steamed. Heavily steam everything.
All right.
It's the only way to be sure."
And let's read the note. That's what the note says. What does the note say?
The note has such, like, almost indecipherable doctor script that, let's see if you can even read it on a, well, that was a roll of 10. So,
so we can read it, but other people can't necessarily.
It's not that it's written in a different language, it's just the sloppy doctor writing is so sloppy.
Yeah, I got you.
As long as it clearly states that we get face masks.
It doesn't clearly state, but we will tell people it says that. But
exactly.
Yeah. So we can read it. What does it say, though? What do we read that it says?
It says, make sure Deputy Esquire gets one of the masks.
Okay, great. Okay. But when we hand that to whomever, they will have to do a roll on it and pass the roll, it sounds like. Okay, sounds fine. Hopefully...
Not if we deliver it with authority. We have a bit of charm, above average charm. We will use it to get 2 masks, if possible.
Oh, okay, we will get one for Jinda.
Well, we'll try to be polite.
All right, you didn't answer me when I asked you the first
time. Oh, sorry, there was a bit of crosstalk going on, and I didn't want to interrupt.
Okay. Yeah, so we've got that. What other questions did we have for Hagen?
We should ask if there's anyone that has just recently become sick, perhaps, that we could talk to, see what they were doing before and after they got sick.
Okay.
And we should check out the oil since we're here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And we should find out if Hagen knows anything about the oil or if he's tested it himself.
Go for it. Take over the body.
Oh, am I the voice now?
Do it.
All of you should be taking over the body from time to time.
Okay, so...
I like the backseat driver personality.
Dr. Hagen, have you done any research at all, any observation on the oil that is in the barrels in the kitchen? They appear to be closed at the moment, but I haven't gone in and checked. And I wonder, those apparently are the last of the barrels of oil that came off a ship in the harbor.
Oh yeah, that oil. I tested some of it, actually. It was fine. There was nothing wrong with it. I even tried a little. It was just fine. Nothing wrong with it.
So it wasn't rancid at all? It hadn't turned?
Nope. It was about as clean and pure as fresh. I don't even know how you get it that clean and pure this time of year, but somehow, I don't know. I don't make oil.
Didn't that strike you as odd?
Oil is only something that I make in small quantities. I don't know about, making big old batches of cooking oil like that. That's not really my business.
Right. So how did you test it?
Well, I took various samples of it, tried various different substances with it, seeing what happens, tried it with a few different animals, seeing how it affected them, and after that, I did the ultimate test and tried a little myself. Sure enough, nothing happened. It was fine. I don't think it's the oil at all. Go ahead and try some in the kitchen if you want to, though.
Okay, well, if you don't mind, I think I will. Cooking with oils actually is my business, and I am familiar with the various ways that oil can turn and how it can be used, and I think I will, if you don't mind. I'll test the oil.
Great.
So has there been a mortality rate? I'm hearing people aren't necessarily dying; they're just staying really, really sick.
Yeah, that's pretty much the extent of it. Someone could die, but they haven't yet. Nope.
Yeah.
Trying to make sure that doesn't happen. That's my job.
And how quickly are people losing their memory?
Well, by the time somebody gets dragged in here, they already don't know what was going on. And usually about the only thing they can say by then is blah, blah, blah. So, we can't really get that much out of them at that point. Nope, not very useful. Not very useful.
Gross. Thank you. Okay. Did we ask that question? Who is the most recent person affected?
No, I didn't. I was
Oh, yeah.
asking about the oil. Go ahead and
Yeah.
ask.
Who is the most recent person
Yeah.
affected?
Sorry. Is there someone that is, that... So no matter what, by the time they get into here, they don't remember anything.
Correct. He raises his
Zero.
hand and points at one person. I've tried them. They tried. They tried a medicine I've been trying to make. It almost worked. They have a perfect memory of the past 24 hours. Unfortunately, it's only the past 24 hours, and a perfect memory of, puking vividly only makes you puke more. So, didn't really get much out of that guy. Not very much. Didn't really help very much. But I'm onto something. I'm close. I might be able to get people some more memory back so we can learn more about this. I'm trying. I'm really trying, though. We're close.
So,
We're
how
close.
much of memory loss are we talking about here? Is this they've lost their entire childhood, they forgot their name, or is this a temporary amnesia kind of thing?
About a week or two, it seems to clear. They guards, one of them that actually recovered enough to really be able to talk, had said that. What did he say? He said that he had been issued to patrol an area that he's only patrolled. He only would have been having to patrol maybe 2 weeks ago, and he didn't realize that there had been other orders since then. In fact, since then, he'd actually been put on leave because of a scuffle that he had gotten into. He didn't even remember that at all. He didn't even remember why he had a black eye.
Wow.
And where was he? What was that reporting he was doing? Where was that located?
That was towards the northern gate.
All right, thank you.
Northern gate. Yes, northern gate. Yes. As for the latest, well, just you might want to move sideways because they're being dragged in right behind you.
Okay. And
So yeah, as he says that, yes, you see there's somebody kind of being dragged in on a like a small cart. Just
Dragged in by other guards, or
yeah, dragged in by it's somebody who looks like they're wearing the white medical clothing, but have like a thicker coat, like an insulating coat over the top because they've been out in the cold.
should go to that person dragging the body or the guard in and ask them where they found them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so as they continue, bringing the person over to where there's still an empty spot to put someone down, you approach and ask about it.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt, but where'd you find this guy?
Oh, he was. We just found him in his home. He hadn't been reporting for a couple of days, and turns out he was just sitting there in misery, not being able to move or do much. And glad we were able to find him there.
Lucky.
He was
Where's
just sitting in his room.
He was at home. He was basically bedridden. It took everything I could to get him to agree to letting me take him here. But that's
that's
been,
okay. So what's his address?
Oh, it was something on. Oh, I left the documentation with up at the front desk there, but somewhere up near Bastet's rest, somewhere around there.
We'll ask Yuri on our way out.
Yeah. And so we should head just that entirely. I mean, that's just a point of interest that we can go look at.
Mhm.
I would advise getting the mask.
Hagen?
Yep.
Thank
Get the
you.
mask. But I want to check out the. Harold's thinking I need to check the oil in the kitchen.
Mhm.
Too along the way, but mask. We're gonna be here any longer.
Yep. Yeah.
Probably find out what if what's her name has just been chowing down this entire time, or if she's found out anything. Yeah.
Right. Susie Sunshine.
Oh, what time? What time is it about now? What
This
time
is-
of day is it?
This is still the kind of late afternoon. Like, really, the progression of time that's gone on. He was given the I believe he set out in the afternoon initially, just to start to find some details about what's going on. And he went to the tavern, and then to the guardhouse, and now to the barracks. So, really, not more than an hour has passed at this point. Probably even less. So it's still late afternoon at this point.
Okay.
So you're heading to the kitchen then?
Yep.
I think so.
Well, we want to get
again,
the mask.
would prefer to stop. Yeah. Although
Oh, okay.
I guess order of operations, so to speak. If it's on the way, talk with her, and then see if she'll come with us. If not, we'll leave her. But she may have found out something.
Oh, you're.
She may actually be an investigator of investigative qualities.
An esquire, even.
I'll share the character sheet and everything after the campaign, but
Yeah. I'm just curious. I mean, it could all be an act.
you'll see and understand what's going on afterward. But for now, I can understand the character being a little bit hard to figure out because she's a little bit of a special, interesting character.
She's Theleston. Come on, we get it.
Maybe not as
But, yeah,
smart.
I'm just saying.
Either way,
We wouldn't. It's Theleston. We wouldn't know.
But just be polite to tag her on the way. A, she might have found out something. B, if something bad happens, I'd rather bad happen to her.
Well, you were going to go to the kitchen. The barracks and the guardhouse are two separate buildings. So if you were going to go investigate the kitchen before going back to get a mask, well, still in the same building,
Right.
then you'd probably go run into her over in the kitchen anyway.
Oh, okay. So she took off then.
Yeah, she's just been, and yeah, you will.
She said she's going to go chow down.
Yeah. So when you do come across, yes, she is just chowing down in the kitchen. Yep, that's.
How's it taste?
Yeah, it's still needs more salt.
Doesn't seem to
Still
stop your
needs more salt.
enthusiasm for it.
Is there been a salt shortage?
No, I just don't want to ask them for salt.
Okay.
I want them to think that the thing they cooked was perfect.
That's
Okay.
surprisingly polite. So
Yes, that's very kind. And
did you
generous.
find? Is she? Did you just come straight here and eat, or I heard you greet some people on the way? Did you talk to anyone? Happen to hear anything interesting or important or useful?
Oh, you know what? Let me introduce you to Malvin here. He's the head of the kitchen. He's been running things here since I don't know, but every time I come in to eat, he's here. So, works for me. Hey, Malvin, come over here. Kind of an even shorter but wider fella than Harold comes walking over. He's got apron on and everything. He's been just, it looks like he's just been making porridge all day every day for the past who knows how long. He's just
That's
in
gotta be
porridge
this poor
hell right now.
Yeah, this poor man has had all the life sucked out of him.
Well, he still has a smile on his face. Oh, hey, Oh, hey Harold. Oh yeah, you're the guy with the other bread. I've heard about when we ever have a shortage of things. You're the guy that's bread comes through. Good stuff.
Yes,
Yeah,
Harold
yeah.
Baker, Deputy Harold
Oh, I don't
Baker,
need to see that.
Esquire, Esquire.
Even.
Anyway, so yeah, so this whole thing, I'm sure you've heard about this oil, and there's been a lot of contention around it. Jinda was actually telling me a little bit about that. Um, this oil, so it came from some deal that happened at the commissary in the north. I don't know exactly what would happen with that. What's going on, but. It's a certain type of oil. It's made from instead of there's a very certain type of seed that I use for one of my breads, and that's one type of oil that I just have in reserve. I haven't had any problem with that. It's this other type of oil. It's more of just a general use vegetable oil. That that's where people apparently have been having problems. Now apparently, it isn't necessarily the thing that's tainted, because apparently Hagen was able to try some from that specific barrel there and didn't have any ill effects. We don't know about the other barrels. They might also be clean. They might not. None of them are spoiled or appear to be tainted. If you just poured a little bit of oil on a smoking hot pan and just took in the aromas, it smells as clean and pure and has a nice clean burn, and it burns away clean. There's nothing I can notice about any of it that would raise any alarms, but I haven't tasted or tried or cooked with any of it ever since this thing I've been told about with the oil. I've just been avoiding it. We switched over to porridge. Porridge is easy to work with. Plus, with all these sick people, that's about all they can keep down anyway.
Where did the barrels come from?
They came from the commissary up north. Again, there was some deal with the northern dock guard or something, and trying to get us some more supplies from a ship that came through. I don't know. I don't know the full details about it, but I understand that there's been some suspicion that maybe the oil's been affected, and who knows? Maybe some of the oil is tainted in such a way that I wouldn't be able to tell. It's not spoiled, though. I know that much. But with the considerations of all that's gone on, my understanding, the people that have been eating the bread that I make with the special oil from those different seeds, that hasn't been giving anybody any problem. In fact, from what I understand, some of the folks that I've been seeing that are still on their feet are people that only eat that bread exclusively. So, it's hard to rule out whether the oil is a factor or not. Or again, Hagen over there with his mad experimenting, his whatever stuff he's doing over there, he seemed to think of some sort of a disease or something potentially communicable. If that was the case, everybody in this kitchen would be just, as wretched as the people out there. So I don't think it's something like that.
So let's whip out our handy dandy magnifying glass that we got, because of course that's what you would get once you become an investigator. And go examine the outside of the barrels and see if we can find any kind of symbology there.
All right, you look over the barrels. It looks like you can see that they had these like small tacks on one of them where some paper had been ripped off. Gonna do another investigation roll here. So that's gonna be 12. So you can tell that there was paper on there. You can see that they all had tacks in them with paper. Most of them, the tacks have been removed though, and you can just kind of see where the holes were. But really hard to tell. Whatever was on them has already been, was removed, and doesn't appear there's any other receipts or documentation or anything on it.
Barrels wouldn't have some kind of maker's mark?
It might have, but that might have been it might be on the bottom, or it might be some they're kind of heavy, and it's kind of hard to maneuver them where they're at. So maybe
We can't kick one over?
No, they're full. They're all full of oil.
So we can't tip one over. I'm all for the wanton destruction of property here. So if we can grab a barrel,
Harold's other voice on the
Yeah.
left shoulder.
Yeah.
it's official. Look. Everyone
Yeah.
so far has been plenty willing to give us lots and lots of information. But sometimes you just got to wreck shit to find out anything.
All right.
Yeah.
So you pick one of the barrels that seems a little more well sealed, and tip it sideways to look on the bottom, and
Are all of the barrels typically? I mean, are all of the barrels unsealed, or are the other two barrels still sealed?
One of them is open. The rest of them are sealed, but some of them looks like they had been opened at least partially and then resealed. One of them looks like it had never been opened yet, like it's still perfect seal to it. So
And that's a good test case. So I agree.
So that's
Okay.
that one. You tip it sideways. You kind of look on the bottom. There's some maker's marks and information about the barrel itself. It appears to have come from.
So we don't need to know that necessarily, but I at least want to try and copy the information down so we can take it to somebody who would give us the information of where it might be from. If we can't, I don't know that we would know by recognizing it unless it literally says, tides end and then the maker. I'm just saying, if we can't figure it out, then at least we want to copy down the information or whatever symbology is there so we can try and take that to somebody
Actually,
who might know.
it does happen to say Valyria barrels and provisions. So it's from
Okay.
Valor, but
So that's
Well,
the
you know
Cooper,
the
though.
barrel.
That's
the barrel's from Valor, but that's about
I don't
all
know
you've
about the
got.
oil, but
yeah,
you
the
know
oil, where it came from, where that barrel went since it was made. You don't know any about that, but
It still doesn't discount that it could, if we're looking
Right.
for symbology or something, it doesn't mean that it couldn't be marked on the inside. I still think
Right.
that Harold Prime should smash one of these things open, or at least find a mostly open and used one, and
Yeah, go
observe
for
the interior.
Yep, you're. We got three
I mean,
voices here. Take over.
I'm just saying.
And I'm up for that
we
too.
looked for whichever one. How far away are these barrels from the kitchen? Like, are
They're-
we still in
They're
eye
in the
shot of
kitchen.
they're
They're
in
in
the
the kitchen.
kitchen.
You go ahead and
like,
spill a bunch
people
of
are
a
like
barrel,
staring at
42
you right
gallons of oil on the floor, and you're going to be cleaning it.
now. Yep.
Okay, so which one seems to be the most used or lightest, I guess, in contents?
No, they're all basically completely full.
full.
Um,
Yeah.
God damn.
You can see
Sorry
the
about this and
the
start
under
trying to-
Well,
underside
we
of
might
the.
maybe we can take one out and dump it. I don't know.
I guess we could be more efficient. Fine. Is there
You folks are really funny. I'm just there's totally a different solution that's out there, but I'm not gonna. If you want to do the barrel, do the barrel.
Well, it's about to ask you, is there? These are full. Is there one that's empty of the same, supplier?
There might be some at the commissary up north. Was there something that you were looking for with them?
I just wanted to know where they came from
Oh, yeah,
because I
they're
think it might be the barrel or the barrel maker for all we know. I just want to make sure. I mean, is this a
Your normal supplier?
Yeah.
let me look. He looks around. He's pulls out a couple of drawers. Finally, he finds the one. He's like, I think this is the one. He hands you a piece of paper. This was what was tacked on the barrel. All of them had one of these, and they're all the same. The batch number, where it came from. But the thing is, I've never heard of this company before. I've never heard of Greenert Oils. They just never heard of them. I don't know where they're at.
Who decided to start buying their oil then? Who made the purchasing decisions?
Who was the dumbass who decided to...
Yeah. Who ordered the wacky oil, the hash oil?
Made this wacky decision.
Again, I don't know. That might have been Herb up at the commissaries in the north.
His name is Herb.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Does Herb make all the decisions for buying for the commissaries?
No, he often has the final say on a lot of things, but in times of desperation, when we are completely low on a specific supply, if a trader comes in town, the dockmaster is actually authorized to make a deal to acquire those supplies before they would actually make it to market.
So Herb is the dockmaster at the northern.
He's the commissary master, which would be for normal orders. But right now, yeah, it would be the dockmaster who would have made. Who is it? The dockmaster up there? Gee, I don't know. I don't really get up that far that much. I'm usually in my business down here. Yeah, maybe you could check at the front desk, and they might know, or I'm sure someone has that information. I just records isn't my thing. Making bread is my thing.
That's our thing too. Anyways.
Well then.
Sounds
Thank
like
you very
we
much
should-
for your help.
For sure.
Appreciate that. Did we decide not to roll a barrel all over the floor
Yes.
beyond what we've done?
I mean, I suppose.
All right.
There's no guarantee he's not lying. We could totally just smash one on the way out just to be sure. I guess if the majority feels that act would not be in character for...
I just
Well,
don't
we
want
could
to
always
take
come
time
back and
to.
smash
I don't
the
want. I don't want to take time to clean up the oil.
Who said we're going to clean it up, man? Paper. Just going to be like, investigative needs, and then walk away.
I don't think that'll go over too well. You might actually
Well, we
have
might
to.
still need information from these people.
Yeah.
You'd have to roll against your charm to see if your character would prevent themselves from doing that to themselves in the
think,
environment.
That's fine. We'll move on. We'll go talk to...
Yeah.
I think we've got a good lead here with
Yeah.
Herb.
Yeah. If they weren't full, I would have done it. I think they're too close to being full.
Yeah.
To, like it's one thing to have a relatively small spill. It's another to have the whole floor full. It'd just be like, fuck it. But
I don't disagree.
Could have also, tried to find a drain or something, but.
Yeah, I don't know if he would have thought that through, but we'll see. Okay, so we need to. What are we gonna say to Jinda? I think we're gonna head out and go somewhere else.
We're going to go find masks, and then we got to figure out where we're
That's gonna be on
going.
the way. That's gonna be on the way. So.
We can certainly extend the invitation, to Jindo. Hey, we're gonna keep on investigating.
Well, so my question is, I think we should head to the commissary in the morning.
Yeah.
I don't think we should do that tonight.
Or should investigate at night when he's not there.
I guess we should do it tomorrow rather than tonight. It's kind of what I'm saying.
Okay.
I think we haven't done any. I don't think we're prepared to take that journey in.
That's a fair point. Yeah, that's totally fair.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. Also, it makes sense to see what kind of a welcome we get.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the original plan was to head towards the southern docks first.
Yes.
We're kind of on our way to do that. I don't know if we want to save that for tomorrow.
Well,
Seven.
it
2
depends
weeks.
on how
3 weeks.
much, deep in the day we are, and then
We're
also,
not terribly deep in the day, it sounds like. But
Is
by the
Harold-
time we
he's within walking distance of home at this
Yeah.
point. He's not very far from home at all. So it seems like heading towards the docks, the southern docks, is still reasonable.
Yeah.
Okay.
It'll still be light for
All
at
right.
least another couple hours.
Okay, so that seems to be the plan. Do we have anywhere we're thinking of stopping before we get to the docks? Anywhere along the way? Do we think we're going to try and visit any? Because I think we have to pass through a section of farmland.
Yeah, the south gate, then the farms before you can get to the docks.
Yeah, I guess it depends on the path. I can't picture it in my head here. I mean, we should stop and get the masks anyways. Or
That's going to be on the
definitely
way. That's just right
Yeah,
there. So I'm not
But
worried
if
about
on
that.
on the way also, if we can pass by or get a firmer locate on that one guard's home, it might be worth stopping by that on the way. But if it's not on the way, then we can place that onto a different day too.
Okay, so do we want to spend another 15 minutes? What's our time frame for this episode?
We're at an hour and 47 minutes. Probably round it up to the 15. It's not going to kill me.
Yeah, what can we do in the next 15 minutes? How far can we go?
Could knock
I'm
over a
a-
barrel of oil.
But we can't clean it up. What do we want to do in the last 15 minutes? I think we're going to head to the south gate, basically, and talk to people there, is what the plan should be.
Yeah.
Do we have, do we want to do that next session, or do we want to try and do that this session?
Maybe we'll hold off till next session so I can prepare things a little bit better here.
Okay. So,
That'll give us a chance to whip up some NPCs for fun.
Yeah, for sure.
all right, so, Jinder, we're going to head out and go to the south gate, and would you please come along?
No, of course. I've already had enough to eat. At this point, I'm just eating for fun.
Great. Okay.
I understand that.
Let's head off, and we've got a gift for you along the way.
Oh.
Watch. So
I hope
let's
it's blue.
head out. Ooh, interesting. Let's head out and go to whoever we need to go to get the masks.
Okay. And that's heading back to the guardhouse again.
We're going to Yuri. Is Yuri going to have a mask for us? Who's going to have the mask?
It would be it would be checking in at the probably with Arvin at the front again, or maybe Yuri.
Okay.
It's you have free access now, so whoever
Yeah,
you
just
wanna
whoever.
talk
I
to.
didn't know. We'll go over and take a look at the masks. What options do we? What color options do we have to pick from?
Probably
Well,
not a powder blue.
Let's see. You've got white, and off-white.
These masks
I'm actually
are not going to
impressed
be
they're-
white.
Hmm?
They're going to be some shade of brown.
Yeah, no, you're right. Actually, they
Vanilla.
probably would be.
Manila, I could go for, but white, it's going to be off-white.
Yeah, no, it would
Some more
definitely
off
be a
than
little
others.
darker. You're right. More because they're made of leather, so it would be like
Yeah, exactly. I
at
was gonna
least
expect
like a tan, like a deerskin sort of color.
vegetable tan, right? Yeah. Okay.
All right, and do we have one that's closer to blue than the other?
Nope.
Okay.
You probably put some blue paint on it real fast, but I don't know if that would affect its quality in any way.
Yeah, let's pick up a mask for Harold and offer one to.
Oh
to,
wait.
Linda.
Well, wait, they only had a couple of masks.
Yeah, we've got 4 masks. We've got 2 guards. We can maybe part with 2 masks,
And
Yeah.
part with them, you should.
but what? So let me actually see the note. I know you showed it to me. Let me actually see the note that you were talking about there. From
Okay, nobody got time for this.
So, is it Arvin or you Yuri that you spoke to?
We talked with.
Oh, who is it that you decided
I
to
think
speak
we
to
talked
here?
to Yuri first, but I don't know who has them.
Okay.
So
So Yuri looks at it and he's looking at
Hagen
it,
said,
and then
"Here's a note from Hagen."
yeah,
Since Yuri
he's looking at the note. He turns the note sideways and keeps looking at it. Turns it upside down, keeps looking at it. And then he just starts laughing. I can't. Is this even words on the? I can't even read this.
Hagen told us to give you the
Yeah,
note.
Hagen told us to give you this note. One of the other. Who was the one who gave us? Who's the one who introduced us to? What's her name?
Yuri,
Hagen did.
that's the one we're
Or
talking.
Yuri,
Yeah,
Yuri
yeah.
did, right?
So
Yeah.
So
if you want us both to be able to successfully investigate, you.
Yeah.
2 masks.
So I gave it a
Mhm.
a charm roll, and let's see, it's 5,
That looks like a 2.
10.
Yeah.
No, that's actually a 5 there.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Let me just bring them up here real quick. This
So
would
10. Do we have
be.
a charm of 5?
This would actually fall under negotiation, so this would be a
Okay.
total of 13. So,
Damn, give us our mask, dude.
yeah, he was like, you know what?
Really?
I don't even that guy. He just writes like a madman. He acts like a madman too. If you notice, I'm glad you got a chance to meet him. But man, whenever you're not feeling so well, definitely go by Hagen. He will take care of you. It might take him a little while, but he'll get to you.
As long as he doesn't send us to the pharmacy, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay,
Alright.
so we get a mask. We can hand one over to Jinda.
We apologize for it not being blue, but needs must.
I don't know what Jinda's gonna say, so let's see what she says.
So she kind of looks at it. What's this for? Is this supposed to protect my face?
Yes.
And your body from potential plagueries.
Oh, I'm not worried about that.
Okay.
Okay. More for us,
Give
just
it
in
back
case
to him
then.
because he needs a mask.
All right.
Okay.
No, we keep the mask. Screw these guys. You never know when one could fail. Or when she might wise up and realize that she's not invincible, or maybe she is, we don't know. Thank you, and we move on.
All right.
Okay.
Cool. All right. Well, then that probably would be a good point to wrap up there, because then where you would go from there's a few different options, but
Okay.
still need to kind of fill in the content just a little bit more there.
Yeah. Makes sense. Great.
Good deal.
Okay, so we will head south to the south gate. I think that's our
Yeah.
plan, and then from there it seems like we'll probably go through the farms into the. Well, we have to figure out where the. So we're wondering if the apartment where they picked up that latest guy is. And there probably should be some women among these guards people. The latest person who got ill, wherever their apartment was, and see if that's along our route to the southern docks. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Cool deal.
So this point, wait, we have a point of CP.
Yeah.
Where do you want to put that point?
Okay, so that would give him a total of 3. Like I said, I haven't updated the character sheet quite yet on that, but 3 points. So is there any skill that needs a single point that doesn't have a point in it yet that would make sense for this? Because 3 is otherwise not enough to do an upgrade.
Okay, so we could still wait. We could still accrue.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything that we think that I don't think there's anything we really need to change yet.
Well, and there's nothing that really stands out that he would suddenly just be like, aha, I've learned this new, ability in this.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think we've done anything new.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be either learning
It would
a
be
skill or if he once
It
he
would be
gets
some
another
form of investigation, I think.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
well,
we'll just wait.
Once he gets one more point, he'll be able to get either unarmed or brewing to a higher level, or pick up another skill like he can already do. But it's one of those things where I'm not really sure if Harold's actually going to need to invest in ACP this session.
No, I mean I could see upgrading gossip, negotiation, investigation, but other than that, no.
Yeah, so we'll
but
just hold it.
that's looking at like 9 and 16 points respectively.
Right.
So we'll just wait.
Yeah. Okie dokie. Sounds good.
Okay, cool.
Cool deal. All right, and then
So second week, it'll be like 3 weeks.
Yeah, it'll be 3 weeks from now. Next week we're gonna have the devs on. Pool's not going to be here, and
3 Sundays from now, I guess.
yeah, 3 Sundays from now. Then in 2 Sundays is the next play session, and then we will be back.
Okie doke.
Sounds good.
All right. Hope you had fun.
All right.
Thanks,
See y'all
guys.
later, folks.
Thanks,
will
everybody.
Be back. And make sure you folks tune in, of course, every Tuesday for the dev shows, Thursdays for the production stuff over on DOP Crew, and all the other fun things they've got going on.
Yeah, check out the Skyward Star Patreon. It's got some pretty cool rewards, and we're rolling on. We've had 2 goals with the map and the art, and kind of rolling towards the 3rd. So check it out.
Yeah. Till then, see you later.